plenty of room there. Right, okay. This is the group that we have. I don't know whether we can get everybody in there. Oh, yeah, pretty much. Oh, Elizabeth, perhaps you can.
Oh, no, she's there.
Is she? Oh, yeah, just on. Right, okay, fine. This workshop is called Forbidden Fruit, and you'll find out why in a minute. But it's a way of teaching about something we have in our schools called assessment for learning. Has anybody heard of assessment for learning? You have, right. It's a backlash against a big movement during the Thatcher years where youngsters were being assessed and assessed and assessed and assessed, and everything was being driven towards the test, practice papers and things like that. And then there was a backlash led by a couple of people called Black and William. William spelt with one L, which is unusual. And they said, no. There's no room for any learning here. And if you've really got to do so much assessment, there are ways of doing assessment that are not practice exam papers, which of course people over the years have forgotten how to do, and which are actually integral to and supportive of future learning. And they wrote a book called Thinking Outside the Black Box, and they focused on some key areas. And one was the notion of the recap, the starter activity that is supposed to bring back what you did the last lesson. Then there was questioning, and then there was self-assessment and peer assessment, and there were plenaries. So that those are the areas that they looked at because they were concrete. Teachers were so used to things being very concrete at the time. Some of them were hijacked into being the very thing that they were trying to get away from. So things like questioning became like mastermind questioning, with everybody else listening. No, that isn't quite what they're getting at. And also self-assessment became something like a spelling test that you marked yourself, which again isn't really self-assessment. And you're nodding as if to say, yes, I think that we know that there's something deeper and more complicated going on here. It was quite difficult to sort of break through that wall and move. They kept trying to change assessment for learning into assessment for assessment because that's what we were used to. I think we've broken through it now, but I think some of you will possibly remember being told, oh, this is assessment for learning, and you're actually recognising some of the things I've said. You're looking back, I didn't learn anything through that assessment, I just felt I was tested. So, which isn't the same as being challenged. So, that's what we're looking at. And I'm using a workshop that I used a long time ago when one of the GCSE papers was a practical paper for drama, but you had to use a number of different texts in it. And so it appeals to people who have got an English background, like working with text, and some interesting things that you can do with it. I've got printed out handouts. I'm not going to give them to you just yet, but I've got two sets of sessions because technically this one, sets of standards. This one is sitting within our week where we're supposed to be looking at curriculum. And that's okay, that's fine. And it hits certain points in there, but it hits more points if it lives in the week when we're usually doing it, which would be assessment. And so I've put those there as well. So it depends whose world you're looking at, what you think you see, which ones are there. And you'll probably see that we're covering quite a lot this afternoon. Okay, I've got printouts for you as well, we don't need just. Okay. Could you all go and stand outside as if you were year 10, which is 14, 15-year-olds, ready for your exam drama lesson? Thanks. Right here, 10. I'm sure you will. Oh, and oh, that one. Don't touch the fruit.
Molly.
Those apples would be on the ground.
Why I like apple? Why? I like them only if they're like cut up and they're just not rare. That is it's very sensitive.
I feel similarly,
Yeah.
they have to be cut.
Yeah. No, I don't actually like them, but I just have like happy memory associated with that, so like. Does anyone else really want it? I want some apple. I just want to, they're real. They're definitely be real. They are real. They must be real.
I'm not gonna lie, man, all I'm thinking about is eating an apple right now, do you know what I mean?
Do it.
Dave. And then just see the sheet. Dave there. Odds on.
Two, shall two go?
What?
Two go,
What if we both?
we both do
If
it,
you both
I feel like you're gonna.
I'll
yeah,
hide
no.
an apple. Should I hide under the apple?
No, you say, what happens if we don't eat? I do like that Halloween thing, like the.
You got both apples?
Yeah, both the
You have to
apples.
be in water. No, you
I
just
just.
bite one.
I'll
No,
try.
no, it has to be. I don't know where to pick out. I don't know where
Just
his hands have been.
Just do it.
No,
Do it
I
now.
don't-
But she was gonna do it, you know.
He told me to. I didn't actually touch it though. From, I think he promised I didn't touch it.
You come into the room and they're all expecting what?
To be immediately led into something.
So you've left them with this temptation. You come into the room and what are they expecting the teacher to do? What was that response?
Reprimand.
Yeah, they're expecting a court case, who touched the fruit, reprimand, and I told you that, but they're not going to get it. So this completely redirects the prediction. Because the teacher comes in and says, right, okay, so what happened when I wasn't in the room?
Nothing, we all sat there in silence. Legs crossed, fingers on lips.
We just wait time.
Yeah, wait for you to come in. Oh, there's 4 there now. There would only be 3 if I ate one. Are they real apples? They're actually real. They're pink lady. Are they actually? No one thinks they're the apple.
Pink lady is like Eve, isn't it? If you think about it. Lady, Ori.
Yeah. True.
So nobody actually touched any of the apples.
No.
Okay. Did anybody want to?
Yes, desperately.
Oh, right.
Really?
So tell me what made you want to touch.
You told us not to.
Yeah, I don't even like apples.
Oh, you don't even know apples.
Only at
You-
3 AM if they're
It
cold.
was just because you were told not to.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So the fact that it was forbidden.
Yeah.
Made it desirable, more desirable than it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, right, and then when I came in the room, you said. Do you remember what you said when I first came into the room?
No, actually.
He was trying to make me.
Oh, yeah, he was telling me he don't need to.
So very quickly, this whole thing, he planted this idea of forbidden fruit. we've already got. I couldn't give a damn until I saw the walls. Okay, so the attraction of something that's forbidden, okay? And then, when you thought you might be accused, rightly or wrongly, the first reaction is to
Ask for them.
try and hook somebody else, blaming somebody else. Anything rather than take the consequences yourself. Okay? And then what happened after that? What did you say?
And she was going to do it, she was.
Right. So you've shared this desire with other people that you want to touch them. Yeah? That was a dangerous thing to do.
He started it.
Yeah, but why might you do that? Why might somebody actually say something, I'm desperate to touch that fruit and I'm not supposed to? Why would you share that thought with somebody else?
To get reassurance.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not just you.
Yeah.
Somehow that makes it feel a bit better.
Yeah, because then it's like you're not the only one that will get in trouble.
Oh, so shared responsibility,
Mhm.
shared blame, possibly shared punishment
Yeah.
is better than being punished on your own.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you see how you're unpicking their moral code? And you said she was going to, so you grass her up. So you're the grasser. Yeah. Why would you want to grass someone up?
You want to be a part of that action, but you don't want to be the one directly taking the drink. Or touching it. So you still don't want to be the one who would get the most of the punishment, but you want to fulfill that desire in some way by being part of influencing someone else to do.
Right, so did you encourage her to do that? No.
Still in Rollins.
But so she told you, and then you grasped her up to me.
Makes it
Is this-
better.
Yeah, it makes you look completely squeaky clean. Did you have a hidden desire to touch
Yes,
Very
I
hidden.
go for it.
that? Oh, right,
Really, in actual fact, I said odds on to do it, and then he said if two of us go. And then I was the only one that bent forward, actually.
Did you actually get as far as touching the fruit?
No, my hand was actually just over it as she started coming through.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
oh,
We all like
that's,
that.
I should have left it.
That's
So I was gonna hide it somewhere in the room.
Right, because the thing was, don't touch it,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Okay. But sometimes I come back into the room and there's a bite out of each apple. People-
I don't do that just in case you wanted to.
Yeah, sometimes they're scattered all over and hidden, but it makes it look as though they've all been eaten. Sometimes some extraordinary things happen. But today it's been quite tame, they're all actually untouched,
Yeah.
or so I've been told.
They are.
But one nearly got hidden, right?
Yeah,
So
there's proof.
what do you think, rather than asking you, why do you think she thought hiding an apple was an attractive thing to do?
The same kind of idea that you had. The culpability is elsewhere.
Okay, so
I'm still involved, but
so she has touched it,
Mhm.
she's still gonna be guilty of touching it,
Mhm.
but what can she still do?
yeah, blame someone else.
She can blame somebody else, she can deflect, but also, if she really gets in hot water, she can go and
Okay.
she can go and get it and put it back. So she can reverse this terrible sin. Right? She can reverse this terrible sin. If you've taken a bite out of it, of course, you can't. So that was quite interesting. You were going to hide it. So what was your thinking behind hiding it?
To get a reaction.
From
You,
me,
yeah,
right? You weren't thinking about the rest of the group.
not really. Like in that moment, I was like, oh, if I hide this, she's gonna come in and be fuming, she's gonna yell at all of us, and then I'm gonna go, haha, got it. You put it back.
Yeah. Ah, okay, right. So this was a
Yeah.
it was partly a wind up for the teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was going to be hugely fun.
Mm.
Right. And
That says something about your relationship with the teacher.
Mhm.
Where you think you are in the pecking order of the
Yeah.
class.
Mhm.
if I'm gonna be troublemaker, then I'm gonna be more important in some way than
Mhm.
people. Interesting.
Yeah,
So there's a power play in that.
There is a power play. in
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
definitely.
but nobody else wanted to do that. I mean, you don't know who well enough, really, but but it's interesting, it was neither of you thought you would do that, so
Yeah.
you promoted yourself into that role,
Mm.
being the mischief maker, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, the joker. Right, so just holding it there. In drama, a bowl of apples can be called what we call text. Yeah, and it's very interesting that very early on you mentioned Pink Lady Avenue. Yeah. So we've got this text, but look what came out of it. We do sometimes talk about having, we'll have a 5-minute discussion, and what does that normally look like in a drama?
20-minute discussion.
But yeah, 20 minutes, and what does the discussion look like?
It's so structured for me because it's like, we have to discuss and be cerebral and clever when she mentions, oh, the discussion, it's got to be sort of academic.
And it's
It's
usually Q&A,
Mhm.
who's asking the Q,
Yeah.
and who's got to answer, you, and usually there's a right, wrong answer. Whereas here, just by putting a bowl of apples and asking what happened when I came out of the room, just brainstorm all the areas that we've already touched on for the last, 5 minutes or so. And of course, there was a discussion that I didn't hear. So what was covered then? Watch it later.
Kind of had a side of observer and a side of instigator.
Right, we still actually sat in set groups, so
Yeah.
you've mixed up after my thing, but never mind.
Excellent point.
So you watch these three,
Yeah.
naughty ones.
We very much got into role, I feel,
Yeah,
especially them.
I think we're more used to doing that though.
Yeah.
So that might be.
Yeah.
you probably recognise that there was a provocation within that threat,
Yeah.
that there was an invitation to do that. But let's just go through it, because the first thing was passing the blame. So there's a huge desire to do what you're told not to do.
Mhm.
Once you've done it, have you got a plan to blame somebody else so you don't face the consequences? So we've got the crime, we've got full knowledge that there will be consequences.
Mhm.
We've got a strategy for not really dealing with the consequences, but rather dumping them on somebody else. That's a useful discussion to have with year 10. Yeah, you haven't dealt with those consequences at all. You've made somebody else take them for you. That's not dealing with them. Yeah. What else was there?
Like trying to share the desire out, so if we
Yes.
go down, we'll all go down.
Yeah, this idea of shared responsibility. If one of us will do it, but we'll all be with you. And of course, we all know they won't, because it's happened 1,000 times before, but we always believe it will. What's all that about? Yeah. What else?
It's interesting because you were saying that you don't even like them.
No.
Yeah.
I really want to
Desire
play catch
versus-
with an apple. I don't know why.
It's just a kind of prop, you really want
Yeah.
to do something with it.
I wanted to
Especially
throw
as yeah, like you said,
It's like-
you're trained in a drama lesson. There's something there, we're gonna use it. I'm just waiting for the teacher to show us how and the ways of doing it.
Yeah, that's so true.
But yeah, there's all that, but there's also this thing about, I wonder what will happen if.
Yeah.
As you said, you were fairly fixed that you were going to get a bad response from me.
Yeah.
So some of it is curiosity. What will happen if I do?
Yeah.
And when kind of deep down, or maybe not that deep down, you kind of know,
Yeah.
but you're going to test it. So we're testing our realities. Talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's putting our realities to the test. We know already, but somehow we've got this opportunity just to see it this time. So you've got a year 10 group actually covering quite deep things rather than just, because I wanted to. They're beginning to sort of link guilt, responsibility, blame, curiosity. And then at this point, I would say, right, okay, you didn't think at all what would happen if I touched the apple.
Yeah, I think. What happened?
You did wonder what would happen if you touched the apple, did you?
Yeah.
You did, right, okay. But you didn't do anything about finding out. And you thought about what would happen with this, and you were prepared to find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this side was also prepared to
Mhm.
find out by waiting for.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
So I now need to ask you, Newton, what's the difference between ignorance or innocence and knowledge?
Well,
You were seeking knowledge.
yeah,
Yeah. What's the difference between ignorance or innocence? Is she innocent or ignorant?
Ignorance.
Would it not be that the teachers
Because
they did that?
well, I mean, how
she
can
did though.
you, I mean, no one
No one is innocent.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
is innocent.
We didn't try to stop you or anything.
Yeah, no one was like, don't do it.
Okay, okay. So we're seeking knowledge by we're taking a risk.
Yeah.
Okay, we're seeking knowledge here. And if you don't seek knowledge and become knowledgeable and educated and informed, you have to remain in ignorance or possibly innocence. Those two, you can talk about that with more, you can let year 10 tune that one over for a little while. We're already getting into fairly deep philosophical conversation here for year 10, okay? So, I think somebody's already worked out that one of the most famous stories about seeking knowledge actually goes back to a very famous story, which I'm about to read to you. Okay. So at this point, we really warmed the group up with a bowl of apples and what happened when you weren't in the room, just for a little while. Okay. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Can you get into, mix across so that we've got a group of 3 and a group of 4, please? I'm going to read this out and you are going to.
Yes.
Out.
Are we standing or seated?
Well, there's different ways you can do this. We want everybody to be active because we've been sitting for a little while. Let's be ready on our feet. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east in Eden. Show me a garden. And there he put the man he had formed. One of you in each group becomes the man.
Go for it.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of the garden were the tree of life. Let's have a tree of life. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. So let's see the man working the garden. And the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden. Yum, yum. But you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die. So let's see that man looking at that very tempting tree with a beautiful fruit on it that is going to provide dire consequences. It is not good for the man to be alone, said the Lord. I will make a helper suitable for him. So the Lord God caused the man to fall asleep into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he'd taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." This is why man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. Now the serpent, we need to create a serpent out of a spare tree or something in one room, was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Woman said to the serpent, "We may eat from the trees in the garden, but God did say you mustn't eat from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you mustn't touch it or you will die." "You will certainly not die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Go and sew up some fig leaves quickly. You'll start naked. It's terrible. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And he said, "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, just as we saw happen a few minutes ago in this classroom, "The woman put it there. She gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" And the woman said, "The serpent deceived me and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly. On your belly. That's it. And you will eat dust all the days of your life. To the woman, he said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children." And to Adam, he said, "Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." Okay, I think we all recognise that story. Okay, out of role for a moment. I could have just read it to you. What happens if you get them to do this?
Embody the story.
Your art, it's embodiment, that's it, okay. What does it do?
They have to actually listen because they have to do a task.
Yeah, they
So-
do, and it's changing from second to second. They must listen to the story and show that they've understood it by, show me. It's a show me exercise, okay, good. Also, for people whose first language isn't English, did it help you? Did you know what a belly was?
Yeah, I don't know, I need to watch Mary would speaking, yeah.
But
Sometimes,
No, just once, but during the story,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
But
solid.
that's
Yeah.
that's interesting though. Can you see what that dynamic allows if she gets stuck? She knows she can copy somebody.
yeah,
Yeah. and then you'll know what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a living dictionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So remembering just to sort of, just to pause every now and again to let those things happen. If I stand here trying to interpret everything with maybe a child that's got very little English, with a translating on a phone thing, we'll never get it finished. Yeah. So we don't need to know all the detail. We need to know the gist. So that's literacy, language, interpretation. And instead of the story now just being on a bit of paper that I read and I've put over here, the story is in you. And if somebody's missed a bit, it'll be in somebody else. Okay, right, jolly good. So, can you please make a still image of any moment from that story? So you've got Adam and Eve, obviously, and possibly the tree.
Look,
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you may, yeah. Still image. You might need to hold it for a while, so don't give yourself anything too horrendous.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fine.
like telling.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, very good. You may have it. Yeah. I like to.
Okay, and just freeze in those little seconds, because kids have All right, go on. And just relax. In those few seconds, can you remember what you said to each other?
I liked that bit where we were all pointing at each other.
Yeah,
What I said.
that's what you said, but it
Yeah.
was done before it was said.
Yeah.
It was a lovely moment because I think you all thought it and just did it at the same time without talking, didn't you?
I don't know,
Realised that you were
I
all
didn't-
doing the same.
Yeah,
That's
I
very
did
fun.
mention and I
Yeah,
started
I
pointing
responded,
and then
yeah.
they kind of picked it up from me just pointing. And I was like, I liked
It's
that
like
bit.
that last scene in Reservoir Dogs, isn't it? Where like, you know, sorry. Showing our age
Yeah.
now.
It is.
So where there are three people and it's like a gun triangle. They're all
like this
got-
very-
yeah.
It's
That's
what it was presented.
It's a classic dilemma of humankind, I'm afraid. So, and it started in the Garden of Eden, evidently, okay? So you've got that very quick decision making as well. They've all got the story inside. This doesn't take very long. So you've got a piece of literature that's embodied that very quickly gets encapsulated in a still image, all right? And okay, yeah. Can this group just sit down for a moment? I want to work with this group still image for a moment. Okay, can you show us your still image? Can you just come away from the chairs a wee bit? Thank you. Just so that I'm
good.
thinking about what she can
Oh.
see. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's
rotate
fine.
these so the guys can see.
And you guys are.
Nice, I can see. I'm watching them through the screen.
All right, that's interesting. Right, okay. All right, can we see who's who here? So this is what you do with a class very quickly. Who's who?
She's Eve, and she's reaching for the fruit. No, she, no.
Now is Eve.
No, I think,
Oh, no,
yeah,
wait,
the
Finn's
serpent.
Eve.
serpent, yeah.
Okay, so Finn's Eve, offering it to
Adam,
Sarah, who is Adam, yeah?
Octavia.
It's
You're a tree.
Looks like the tree, and we've got the snake
Serpent,
here
yeah.
whispering to Eve. She's already, or has she? Where would you put the apple in that scene? Right, okay, that's the obvious place to put it to begin with. Good, thank you. And that was the interesting question, wasn't it? At this point, has Eve already tasted it, do you think?
No,
Oh, so she hasn't tasted it herself.
no.
But what's she doing?
She's
Sharing this.
Yeah, who's she giving it to? No.
You do it first.
Oh, I get, yeah. Mhm. And isn't this what we saw happening at the beginning of the lesson? So you keep tying it back to the metaphor. So there's a text within the group of what happened early on in the lesson that we're also drawing on through the text, which is the apples, and now a third text, which is the Bible story. Okay, right. Would you like to come and let's put the apple somewhere else?
It's very tempting.
Careful, it's a pink lady. Where would you put it in that scene? In that picture, where would you put the apple?
I can put anywhere.
You
I
can
want.
put it anywhere you like.
Okay.
Okay. Ah.
Mm.
Aha. Now, what does this mean? It's still on the tree. Oh, and look where Eve's looking now.
At the apple.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam and Eve were about to hold hands. Maybe they're
Oh,
approaching
right.
and they're like getting ready to go into
together.
this thing together.
They're going to enter into this pact.
Yeah.
To
So they
think
like you know
carnal
like
knowledge.
and they like do the thing with the hands. It's
All
like that
right.
moment.
Ah, so there's a real apple on the tree, but there's also this premonition. Yeah, all right, yeah, you can relax a little bit if you want to, because your arms must be killing you. So there's also another apple here, which is the knowledge, and of course we all know that that is sexual knowledge, and this becomes a sex education lesson, especially in a moment like this. So what sort of knowledge are they actually talking about here? Adam and Eve, the nakedness, etc., etc. I was in a Catholic school; they've done a lot of stuff on this. So this now becomes the apple hovering above what they are about to do as a kind of symbol. I'm talking about symbolism in this picture. We're moving away from the real apple in the hand into something symbolic, hovering over a relationship. These two hands are almost clasped. Now the real apple is missing. You see how lovely, good. Right, now, would you like to move it again?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Are the other actors allowed to move when the apple moves?
Well, no, the idea is to keep this still, but it was interesting. If somebody does do what you did, which was just to change and start looking at that, that can be, you know, it's like a breathing still image, if you like. So if it moves a little bit, that's not the end of the world. Ooh. Now, what does this mean? Meaning making. Okay, just by moving an apple. What does this mean now?
I think this is the bit where the serpent is like, oh, if you eat this, you'll become God, your eyes will open, like.
So actually this fruit of knowledge doesn't really originate from the tree.
No, I've decided,
It's a possession of a force of evil.
yeah, the serpent's already.
The apple is
It's like
kind of,
habit.
yeah, it's kind of, the apple here is like kind of the idea of taking the apple,
Mm.
rather than the apple itself, it's like, let's see.
It's a symbol.
Can you see how the metaphors are beginning
Yeah.
to flow now? Yeah? All right, and every time you move the apple, it means something slightly different. Okay, thank you. Would you like to relax that group? We'll just do the same thing with this one.
Okay.
And again, if you can get to a point where the camera can see it.
The same scene or?
You're doing your freeze,
doing-
and
yeah.
where's the apple?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
who's got the apple? All right. Right, yes, would you like to place the apple
Okay.
first and see what happens? So it's hovering in the middle. Oh, are you actually there?
I'm not there.
All right,
But
it's suspended.
gravity, yes.
Okay, it's dropping.
Well, I can't.
Yeah, yes, but the idea is that it's
It's
dropping,
in it
yeah?
somewhere.
It's there somewhere, okay, and it means?
The
shared
Yeah,
blame of that
that
apple.
is- Yeah, culpability is sort of transient in this
Mhm.
story.
It will contributed in some way to the apple, like maintaining the tree.
So the apple is now something that we have created for ourselves. Ah, this is really deep stuff now, if we're getting into, yeah, okay, good. And would you like to give it somebody else?
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Holding it, so, yeah.
See?
Who was it? What's it mean now?
So I think that this must be Adam.
Is Ray the snake?
I think Ray is the snake.
And then
Yes, she had to fall on her belly, didn't she?
So I think that this creates that Eve took the initial bite and is trying to get it away from her, but she's still got it.
Oh, right, so she's eaten it and now she's trying to get rid of the guilt and blame it onto other people with that, but, right, okay, nice, okay, Octavia?
My reasoning is that it was the snake the whole time who was the one who tempted them to take the apple, so that's where it like originated from.
Okay, so it's not a creation of knowledge at all, it's a creation of evil, is
Yeah.
that right? Okay. Right, so this whole thing about coming to school in order to learn is now being put under a very tight microscope, isn't it? Are we actually losing our innocence? Are we losing our ignorance? And at what cost are we acquiring knowledge? Okay, in the broader scheme of work. Fenton, would you like to finish off, please?
I do.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't necessarily have to be visible. It could be a tableau you have to work around. Ah. And who's this?
It just appeared here, I didn't do this.
It's Adam, isn't
It is
it? Yeah, you're Adam, okay.
Adam saying Adam. I don't know, does he have a full name, actually, but genuine question? Smith. Is that actually?
Granny Smith is the animal, yeah.
Is he just literally just Adam?
So
It's just, yeah.
what's the thinking behind that? You portioning all this blame to Adam?
He's the
Oh,
one.
he didn't have the atom, wanted to see what it looked like if Adam has the Adam's apple.
Oh, that's interesting.
See,
Oh.
and this, let me not, actually, but
Feels like he's just taking a chunk and yeah, putting it back on. Yeah, now the snake seems more smug.
So it's
Snake's
the
work is
same,
done.
it's the same story as here, but
Yes.
in Adam's, but everybody blaming each other. Okay, right, thank you very much. Take that back. Now, so can you see the discussion that you get just by moving an apple around and all the different depths that they can actually get to with that? Now, I've had classes actually put, but what's interesting is sometimes you'll get a child say, I want the apple to be here. And, you know, we have to get somebody to hold it strategically who can be trusted, you know, because they are already sensing the sexual charge through this metaphor, but it's got something to do with down here. Very often balanced on the top of the head as well, because that's where knowledge is. Experience, knowledge. These two hold hands in drama all the time. So it's no surprise that these things will come out. Yeah. Not unusual for it to be behind somebody's back. And actually outside the room. Because they're saying the influence of the apple is actually everywhere. And we're just a tiny drama lesson in the middle of this influence of the apple. So you can get some really fascinating stuff out of that. So it's worth doing it a little bit just with the Adam and Eve story, because it does help retell the story, reinforces the language, blah, blah, blah. Then I say, now, this is another text. Can you think of another story that involves forbidden fruit? And make a still image of that story. Don't let the other group know what it is. Any other story that involves forbidden fruit, anybody being told that they mustn't do something, Now go ahead and do it.
The goose egg. The golden goose egg.
No, just a still image, so just a picture from one of the scenes.
Let's try
We can have one person. There's no action. There's a bunny.
Because the wolf does.
Okay, I'm gonna be a wolf.
Okay, so we've got a wolf.
Okay, and 10, 9,
You can be the. Yeah.
7,
You can be on, if you're comfortable.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and still. Thank you. I ought to take some photographs of these. Do you mind if I do that?
Should we go into the?
Go.
Yes, do you want, yes, move into the middle so that they can see. While you're doing that, I'll just get my camera. Let's forget to take these ones down.
That's it, yeah, that's it.
Can't
Octavia a
find-
bit more. That,
Oh, you guys are really getting like in position.
yeah.
I love that.
Okay, let me just take these. Two. 1, there. They might not be very good photographs. Anyway. Okay, right, good. So can you just relax, stay standing up there rather than climbing down and have a look at this one. See if we can work out which one it is. Let's hear your thinking.
Okay, well. It looks awfully afraid.
Mhm.
Screaming,
Maybe.
almost shouting, help, help, yeah. Crying, really sad and afraid. These two aren't watching. You look like some kind of animal of sorts. Dog, monster, werewolf, beast.
Lion?
Lion, tiger, bear. Oh my.
Leopard?
Right, I'm gonna break it because it's a story about someone doing something that they shouldn't have done. They've done it anyway, they're told not to do it, but they do it.
There are two bystanders.
Oh, this is the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's it?
the boy who cried wolf.
Oh.
Okay.
It's
Tell the story quickly.
So it's basically they're in it's a boy in a village, and this village, he's on like a hill or something looking out for wolves because there's been talks of wolf attacks.
Yeah.
And like there's no wolves coming, so then one night he decides to say, "There's wolves coming, there's wolves coming," but there's no wolves.
I know that,
Yeah, and then one time the night that the wolves actually do come, no one listens to him
Oh.
because he's lied so much.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's have a look at this one.
Yeah, there's an animal and they want each other. They can't have each other. But the
There's elevation going on.
Mhm.
It's a Greek,
Or is this the devil?
it's Chinese.
Okay.
Oh.
Would we know?
I didn't know it.
Okay, I know there's a parable about someone being sent to the stars. But I don't know if I can remember all of the details, but there's something, it's like. A god is mad that they do something. And so she gets, or is it the sun and the moon? And oh, but like why are they, why, and that's why they can't like be together, they're like always. Are you the devil?
Yeah.
No,
No, it's right.
it's right.
It's always right.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember any other detail about this.
There's the sun and the moon.
Oh,
Moon and sun.
Okay, I think you need to fill the story in now.
Yeah.
Most of
So
they can.
it's the story behind Mid Autumn Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple on Earth, but the wife in the couple, so she took the pill of immortality.
Mm.
And that's not meant for mortals, so she was punished by gods to be sent to live in the moon because now she's immortal, so she cannot live on the same plane as mortals. But her husband is still left on Earth, and so each year they're allowed to meet only once. That's when the moon is the brightest and biggest. And they say that you can see her shadow with her bunny, with her pet bunny.
There's another story about the rabbit, isn't there, that goes to the moon, pounding his cookies.
Yeah.
To his, you can see a rabbit sort of curled over, and he's trying desperately to make the cookie out of moon dust, because apparently that was something that was supposed to be able to go back to Earth and resolve the problem with it or something.
Yeah,
vague
yeah,
on it, yeah.
exactly.
So there's lots of moon rabbit stories, I think. Excellent, thank you very much, so you've both got those. And of course, when you've got a class, you will get the Augustus Gloop from,
oh, but yeah, jokes are chocolate.
you'll get Romeo and
Mm.
Juliet,
Mm.
you get a lot of fairy tales. It makes you realise just how many texts they know. So this text is the one that they bring into, apart from the one that they did in the discussion, this is the text that they've chosen to bring into this classroom. So the idea is now that, can you recreate your Adam and Eve still image, please? Let's make sure it's reasonably central. Good, yeah. What you've got to do is superimpose your still image on top of that.
Our most recent one, or
The one that you just did with the cry wolf. So imagine this is your set, and you've got to slot those characters as they were into this.
The middle one is like multiple people.
It's my mother ringing. She's 102. She hasn't realised I'm teaching, so I've just switched her off.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We're doing a really fun.
We're doing
Yeah.
all fun, okay.
Because then we can put, then
No,
no,
you would be.
I think
we can be.
just
If
who
we're
are these
there.
guys?
Because
We're set.
Can we mould them?
could you not be with the snake? Because you're kind of the similar image, and then you're the innocent man victim.
Innocent man victim.
Which is,
Right.
yeah, and like you know,
Done these first.
yeah, and there's a level of blame.
I mean, yeah, because it's your own fault. No one knows.
So. No, I'm looking at the
But-
villages. You guys find this.
Yeah. Okay, we're still chilling.
Yeah, because you guys aren't even paying no attention.
Yeah.
It's like, so I mean.
Okay, and then I think I would then ask a member of the audience, where would you put the apple? So, yeah, exactly. So can you see how they're making connections, carrying metaphors, making parallels? And that was an interesting moment there when you were about to do something that, no, wait a minute, no, I'm not angry with you, I'm angry with you actually. And so you start redirecting the energies and the dynamics of the stories. because of the magnetic force of this one. You're forced to think about these pathways and it changes what you do. I mean, I was wondering whether you might get behind her and do that so that you got sort of a Medusa-y like thing coming out the front, or possibly popping through the legs or something to make it. But it's quite interesting what kids will do with this. And no, the evil's here. No, the evil's there. No, but it's her fault. No, it's not. It's his fault. Oh, div. You know, you get all that sort of stuff. And I've just let it roll because they're wrestling with these difficult concepts and making fresh meaning out of them. And then when, of course, you do the apple exercise on top of that, whoa, it should go here. No, it shouldn't. It should go here. So it's quite a nice one. I'm not going to do that here, but that is something, again, rather than, oh, what can you see? Where would you put the apple? What's the difference between what can you see and where would you put the apple?
I think asking where the apple's gonna be involves more critical thinking.
Of course it does,
Rather
yeah.
than saying, what do you see? And they say, I see Finn being a scared boy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So you can see what I mean about wasted questions that we sometimes ask. Think a little bit more about the questions and dress it up as a task. Because what you're really saying is, give me a metaphorical analysis of what this scene is depicting. If you say that to year 10, they'll go, put the apple somewhere and tell me what you're thinking while you're doing it. You will get. Of course you will. So this is one thing about the art of questioning. Very often it's a good idea not to actually ask a question. There are plenty of questions going on here without me adding my 5 pennies worth. Okay, and let's just swap them over and then we'll sit down and we'll look at the paperwork and you can do some notes.
Back to Adam and Eve, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Where are
Wait.
Yeah, you guys got
Three. Yeah, get over there, serpent. Sorry.
No, I do what I want.
Okay. How are you going to slot yours in around that?
Well, I mean, the husband is left on Earth and Octavia is a tree. So I'm making that connection of Earth tree.
So Adam would still be the husband.
Well, no, we have to go and put our image like within this one kind of.
Or the same image was just a story.
It's what you did, slotted, superimposed onto that. And sometimes you need to alter it a bit. You might need to drag out a chair, for example.
Yeah.
You
So-
might not.
For example, where I was the husband, I would probably come and put myself here by the tree, potentially maybe like, I don't know, reaching through the branches, like in a way that's like, I'm on Earth.
Can you go through the arm? Yeah. Bigger. Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Would I be maybe right behind the serpent and Eve? Yeah, that would be
Okay, and you're gonna stand on that. Careful, yeah. You should be all right.
There's nothing on that one.
Okay, just be careful. That's it. Good.
Yeah, I want to see.
Okay, and the little bunny rabbit who's made a terrible mess of things.
that.
Right, okay. And then where might the apple go here? Yeah, all sorts of, and that's the job for the audience to do. Okay, thank you very much. Do sit down and get a pen and we'll just pause a bit and do some thinking.
Do we need a pen or can we do laptop?
Well, I've given you
Oh,
this so
okay.
that you can scribble on it. You don't have to, you can do laptop if you prefer.
No, I was not sure if it was notes or if it was actual.
No.
things.
Before we forget it all.
Sorry.
Already done them.
Wow.
Two there. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then there's the Genesis, just in case you fancy doing this, I've been I'll give the Genesis as well. Okay. Right, so the first bit was outside and don't touch the I've given you some notes here, but you might want to add to them. I've jumped straight to the third page. And now we're thinking about it in terms of assessment for learning, yeah?
Mhm.
We were looking at it really in terms of drama, and it only, assessment for learning only popped up a couple of times. So you've got don't touch the fruit. So we talk a lot about prior learning and prior knowledge, don't we? What did that instead of what did we do last lesson? What did that bowl of fruit provoke?
Desire.
Yeah, it triggered off thoughts about desire. What else? Power.
But also like the mechanics of considering storytelling yourself without, organically. Rather than kind of enforced, now you must write 2 pages. You must write your own text, wouldn't we?
Right, so what were they actually
So
doing?
sort of like bringing their organic, their prior knowledge, their learning,
Yeah.
their ideas to,
They all knew
stimuli,
about
yeah,
temptation.
yeah.
All you needed was to put a bottle of apples in front, and it didn't take long before it all came out. And with a little bit of nudging, you notice how I slightly reframed what they were saying. Oh, so the blame is better if it's carried collectively. You might drop in the old word there. So there was quite a good exploration of, so what you want is a discussion about temptation. You could be up all night thinking, oh, how am I going to come? No, but that just did it for you, really. And I think it's important that you let, in this particular instance, you let them have a few minutes. Because what they're making is a piece of impromptu theatre that they didn't realise they were making, which of course they, in a sense, they're critiquing and analysing afterwards when you walk in and say, well, what happened, what was all that about? So that starter is a very organic one, as you mentioned. You don't have to work very hard to actually bring it to the surface. And we've established what this scheme of work is all going to be about. And we're not playing Splat. And then, was there any self-assessment going on in that discussion?
Yeah,
Go on.
well, I mean, like, when I was like talking like, oh yeah, I was gonna go and hide it, and I was like, because I wanted a reaction. That's self-assessment, because it's like I'm assessing myself as to why I was doing it.
You're actually assessing your own character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ask you to,
No.
but that's what happens, yeah. You actually assess your own motivation. And a lot of them say, oh, I remember once when I was in year 8, so and so happened, and I thought and I felt, and they're reflecting on their previous learning and assessing it in terms of this text that you've put in front. But only peer assessment go on. There's a couple of hilarious moments of peer assessment.
I think particularly in trying to shift blame.
Yeah.
But even like, I can say without me really saying anything, like there was quite a bit of, and really this is just because I know Mary and Mike here, we talk about it all the time, but like the way that I act in the classroom always shocks me. I become like such a goody two shoes again. But and then even like, I felt like I was quite assessing my peers, even if I wasn't saying it out loud.
In terms of,
Their character.
right, okay. And this, again, what do we get in schools? Oh, yes, how good was that character portrait? Oh, yes, facial expressions, that was the way they move. Yeah, the way you listen to them. All the outside stuff. Whereas what you're doing here is that you have that lovely spat between those two quite early on. He made me do it. No, I think you're going to do it anyway. You're kind of assessing one another and what they're going to say, in this sort of semi-role, you kind of knew you were safe enough because you were enrolled, you just sort of knew that. Maybe not, you know, these are very, very fringy sort of examples. And then, what was my questioning? Because I did do questioning, but have I got a written list of questions? If was I up all night thinking about them?
You kind of let our responses guide your questions. But you started off with the, you know, did anyone touch the apples?
Yeah, what happened while I was out
Yeah.
of the room? That was
And
the
then-
question.
And then that just led to the discussion.
Yeah, and then there's a little bit, oh, I wonder what made you think that? Leslie Heathcott, Dorothy Heskett, you might have heard of her. Oh, I wonder what made you think that? I wonder why that was. So in fact, she's asking herself and then she just waits. And somebody else will answer it. So you're getting a dialogue that is really beginning to spiral into some depths already on that one. And we didn't really get to the notes, we're not in the end. Those are the things that Buck and William were focusing on, and these get talked about a lot in Brunswick. So we're just thinking about challenging some of the more traditional models that we see in schools a lot, and thinking about how we might do. Okay. Then after that, we did the Adam and Eve story. Was there any self-assessment in that? Or any of those? Is there any questioning?
When we're like coming up the, as you were saying the story and we had to have our movement, I was do all like
Still
there was-
images.
yeah, that's it. We had self-assessment there because I like do something and be like, oh wait, no, actually it would be better if I was like this, like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and not always was somebody telling you. Sometimes somebody would say, "Oh, can you bring that branch down a bit lower?" You know, and they don't realise it. But what they're doing is they're actually watching each other and assessing each other and changing each other, adapting each other. And as you said, you had a moment where, actually, no, that doesn't feel right. I'm going to do that. So now this is, to me, this is really in-depth peer and self-assessment. And there's time to let them have a little bit longer for a still image. We usually tend to thunder it all the way through. And sometimes you want it speedy, you want it quick, you don't want them to think too much about it, otherwise you end up with something artificial. But on something like this, where they're having to think about encapsulating a whole story into it, you might want to give them a little bit longer, especially if you listen to the quality of the discussion that's going on while you're going around. Did I have to ask any questions about that process? No, there were plenty of questions and answers going on. Absolutely. And this is again, some drama teachers will set them a task and think, oh, in that 5 minutes, I've got time to send a quick text to my mate. No, you need to be listening and watching what they're doing. Because very often that's when the so-called limited child needs to know. And if all you're going to do is watch the product where they don't come to life, they do the opposite, you will have missed these interesting moments and valuable moments about what they really can do. Then, so we've got that, and then of course we did the placing of the apple. What sort of assessment were they doing there? Now we've really got some real meat to get into, yeah? So we've done sort of self-reflection type assessment. We've done, let's sort this story out, shall we, and make some sense of it assessment. Now we're getting into some philosophy, okay? So can you see the what that they are assessing is on different levels? So this is third activity. I would be expecting to see some real meat on the bones here, which is what Amanda Spielman was talking about. Yeah. And did I get it? As a drama teacher, was that happening in my lesson? Yeah, of course. That moving around with the apple. What was going on there?
think particularly about where the apple will be and also why.
Yeah.
Also, as it got like further down the line and sort of, you know, you were the last person to go or something, you had a lot like less options, and so you have to think more about why it would be in that place, because it can't be in that one or that one or that one because it's already been taken.
Yeah, we had an interesting moment when we were wondering whether the apple had actually been bitten into or not. Because that then gives you a slightly different apple. And then that opens up other possibilities. But yes, you're right, there was a lot of critical thinking. I like what you were saying there about, and you had to say why. Did I say you had to say why? No. But it automatically flowed. So if I, in what you have in a lot of classrooms, go and put the apple somewhere, right? And everybody's watching, and put the apple there. And then you do the trick question, why do you put it there? And the child, I don't know, just told me to put the apple somewhere, so I just put it somewhere. And now I've got to have a reason why. Whereas, if you think, if you've got the apple in the picture, where might it go? That soft-edged questioning. And very often people were telling me the answer to it as they were going to put it in. Well, I think it ought to belong near Adam because Adam blah, blah, blah. And by the time I finished the sentence, the apple was placed. So this thinking out aloud, one at a time, you know, we do have to go round and listen. And of course, the moment you go near a group, yeah, Flossie will shut up. Whereas here, we did get a chance to hear every individual speak. Now, of course, somebody's going to be sitting here thinking it's all very well, Amanda, we're in a small group. What happens when there's 30? Any idea how you might do this when there's 30?
Have them decide where to put the apple as groups.
Yeah,
Or in
you-
pairs.
Yeah, make sure that you've got an even number of groups. Remember the maths, okay? The even number of groups. So you've got your Adam and Eve's on this side, and you've got your Goldilocks and the Three Bears, or whatever it is going on down here, and you match them up like that, and you will hear the room will explode with noise, and you're just going to have to go around it and listen. You can always pause it and just say, right, that was fascinating. But as you go round, just say, you know, I'd like you just to explain, try and work out one neat, tidy sentence about why you ended up putting that. So that's like a little wrap up encapsulating, and then show it dramatically. I think the apple goes here because of so and so, or we think, yeah, we think, then swap over.
Also, if they do have to do it in groups, they still have that like sort of critical thinking conversation about, no,
Yeah.
actually, I think it should go there. Oh, actually, that's a really good idea. Maybe we should. So even if you haven't necessarily heard it, they still have the same like process to get to where they.
You get some groups that actually cut it in half, they snap it in half. So we have both then. Marvellous problem solving. That means we really can't choose between these ideas, they're both good. And so all sorts of interesting things happen with that apple. And yes, you're right, it's the critical, it's not so much the execution of the product, it's the process that they get to. And there'll be a child always saying absolutely nothing, but watching this apple going from here to here, thinking, yeah, I followed that one, never mind, oh, it's over here now, oh, that's the snake, yeah, I get that bit. And even if they're following and engaged, even if they're bemused by some of it, you know that little brain is wrestling with it. Every now and again, a bit of a light bulb moment. Yeah. So yes, this assessment for learning, we tend still to have this thing about, yes, but we're assessing this. Whereas if you're looking at something as big and as complex as drama, the what that you have to assess is moving all the time in terms of the material that they're wrestling with, processing, and with the knowledge they are generating. Okay.
Moving the apple really made me think a lot about Freud's thing association
Go
and
on.
word association.
Yeah.
So by focusing on the thing, it helps them to think about what words they associate with or what concepts. And then when they combine that, they have that their object of the metaphor. So it's like psychologically, it's quite an elegant way of getting them to do something that is actually quite challenging, but through a very simple method.
Yeah. the moment they start moving an apple about, it's a simple way of accessing some very, very deep stuff. And it's interesting how very quickly they get to carnal knowledge, which of course is what the whole thing is a metaphor for. And some of them will do Augustus Gloop, and some of them will do Romeo and Juliet, and some of them will do Blood Wedding, or you know, and it doesn't, because it's all okay, it's all fine. The process is the same. Okay, right. So, are we ready to go? Their own. The text meshing is what we've done, right? And then I'm going to introduce another text. Now this, I'd like to think that Quinn actually nicked this from me in this workshop. You were talking about this earlier. Okay. Who knows the story of Troy? The Battle of Troy.
I remember bits of it.
Okay, you remember bits of it? It's the one with the horse, the wooden horse, okay? So some people don't use to think of, oh yeah, they've forgotten the name of the city, but they do remember the one with the wooden horse. Now, who knows where the story begins?
Does Helen of Troy get like kidnapped as well?
That's right,
Yeah.
she does, she does.
That's
That's not quite, it's not the very
Yeah.
beginning, but it's very close to the beginning, yeah? It does in fact start with an apple. So that's why I chose, oh, do you remember where it starts now?
Well, because I was trying to, I had to, anyways.
It's a golden apple.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Well, because. No, I had to memorize quite a bit of text that I did for Suzuki at one point, so but it's like not coming to me, so it's not.
I'll start
It's not
off the
helpful.
story then.
Yeah.
And when you think you can pick up and do the next bit, you say so, and I'll pass it on. That's quite a nice one to do, because very often they do remember a story, but it's all a bit mixed up. So, and then you start and they go, oh yeah, I know. Pass it over it that way. Another way of doing storytelling. Zeus is having yet another wedding party. Zeus, as you might know, actually had lots and lots of partners because he was king of the gods and he could do what he wanted. But he decided that he was not going to invite spite. Spite, you know the word spite. If you're spiteful, you're nasty, you're vengeful, you get angry with people and you do nasty things to them because of that. Okay. Bully. And spite was not invited to the party. And spite, of course, was very, very cross about this. So they have this big party up in the heavens and it's singing lots of wine and all the rest of it. And Spite floats by on her cloud and she has with her a golden apple. And on the apple is carved the words, to the fairest, to the most beautiful.
Oh, I know that story.
You do?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, do you want to pick the story up from here a little bit?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The most beauty name is Helen. Is that story?
It is that story, but it's that bit comes later. We haven't quite got to that.
Yeah, I can see.
I'll do the next bit and then you can do the bit when we get to it. And she floats by on her cloud and she thought, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to cause a lot of trouble at this party. And she throws the apple down into the middle of the party. And 3 goddesses scramble to get the apple. And this is the goddess of war, the goddess of love, and the goddess of wisdom. And they have a terrible fight and they snatch it and they say, I'm the fairest, I'm the fairest. No, I'm the fairest. That was meant for me. No, it wasn't, it was meant for me. There's a terrible fight. And all the others join in, and in the end, Zeus has to send everybody home. And he's really, really cross that this has happened. He said, you're going to give me that apple and I am going to decide what to do with it. So he decides that he will look down on earth and he thinks, right, I know what. Oh, there's a chap down there called Paris, yeah. Called Paris. And I am going to drop that apple by him. You three, as I drop the apple, you are going to appear to him on this mountainside. There's nobody else around. And he will decide who this apple should go to. I can't make that decision. It'll cause absolute havoc. So this poor chap going for a walk on a mountain, minding his own business on a lovely sunny day, suddenly, wallop. Oh, apple. That's it to the first. He looks up and there are the three goddesses. And they say, you've got to decide who is the fairest. You've got to award this apple to one of us. Okay, and at that point, I'm going to stop the story just for a little bit, because that's the bit that most people don't know, and it leads up to this crisis. So I'd like you to get into different groups, please, in groups of 3 and 4, obviously, and sit back to back so that you're like a Y shape. Yeah, with your legs out. Okay, off you go. One of you is going to be the goddess of war. One of you is going to be the goddess of love. And one of you is going to be the goddess of wisdom. Okay, and what happens is that they all try and persuade Paris to give him the apple. The goddess of war promises that he will be a great warrior, a great fighter, and that all the battles he's in, and all his armies will win, take over loads of land and all the rest of it. Another one says you're going to be a very, very wise leader. People will come from all over the world to listen to your wisdom. That's the goddess of wisdom, says he's going to be the wisest person in the world. He's also going to be a great leader for that. And the goddess of love, of course, promises, right? What does she promise him?
Is beauty.
That's it, that he will have the most beautiful woman in the world. Right, so those are the arguments you've got to put together. So I'm just going to give you, just imagine you are those 3 goddesses, and we're going to have 2 people play one goddess here. So who's partnering up? Who's goddess of war? You're going to be goddess of war, you're going to be goddess of war. Goddess of love?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're going to be goddess of love, you're going to be goddess of love. Can you actually pair up? Yeah, so that's the bit that you know, that's it, okay? And you goddess of wisdom, okay? Octavia, are you up to being wise today? Jolly good. Right.
Not any other day though.
Well, it's last thing on a Friday, it's a bit of an effort, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to give you a countdown of 10. You know that this is going to happen. This is shortly before Zeus drops the apple down onto the mountainside. And you are practicing in your mirror all the things you're going to say to Paris to try and make him choose you. Okay? So I'm going to give you a countdown of 10 where you practice before Zeus summons you to go down to earth. Okay, off you go. Everybody together. Give me the apple because, and give me the apple. 10.
Because
With some
I
9.
will champion
What?
a fantastic army that's going to ensure that Greece is superior nations. And everyone will feel terrible. And that everything will be fair because all things are fair. And he, what you want to guarantee military protection, otherwise this nation is doomed. I am a fairest. I
None of these other girls can
fair.
Goddesses, please get ready to go down to earth. The goddesses drop like feathers down to earth, right near Paris, who is bemusedly staring at God. Message. And any second now, the interrogation is going to begin. The pressure is going to start. You don't care what card you play, you must get that. I'm going to start with the goddess of wisdom. And then I'll call out another goddess's name, and then that's their turn to speak. And then we'll go round several times so that you all get a crack at having a go at Paris. And you must break it, you must have that apple. There are ways in which you can do that. You've got some ideas of your own, but you might want to bounce off somebody else's. So you might have 4 or 5 ideas in your own little pot, but you might listen to another goddess and think, oh, I can argue that against that one. I can flatten her argument. And I'm going to use my next turn to actually crush what she said. You don't care what you do. You don't care what you say. You will have that apple. Oh, yes, you will. Goddess of wisdom, go. Give me that apple. Wisdom. The
Give
two
me
wisdoms.
that apple, because wisdom will carry you through any situation. Give me that apple, because I will grant you wisdom, and with wisdom you will know it was right to give me that apple and not to war
And
or love.
love.
Don't listen to what wisdom says, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What's the point of being wise? What's the point of winning wars if you haven't got a beautiful woman to come home to? And all these women in the village, ugly. I can grant you the most beautiful, stunning woman that you will ever see in your entire life. Give me that apple, you will be happy. You will be the happiest man again.
And
So,
war.
Listen, do you want this country yourself to be a weakling, or would you rather make this nation absolutely bulletproof? The only way, what good is love? What good is wisdom if we can't protect this country? We can't protect ourselves. All things are actually fair in war, because I find fair.
Wisdom again.
Wisdom is inner strength. Rather than giving yourself to your country, invest in yourself. Would you rather be stupid and in love, or would you want to have wisdom to find love that's right for you? Would you want wisdom so that you know what to protect, rather than just blindly following power, winning wars without knowing what is right or wrong?
Love.
What's the point? Listen, again, what's the point of winning wars? What's the point of being the strongest man in the village if you ain't got a beautiful woman to come home to? You want to be the strongest man in the village and have all of the ugly people taken after you. When I've never asked you the most gorgeous woman, love her unconditionally, whether you're winning.
Sure, you can be clever, but be dead. You can have a beautiful wife, but be dead. The only way you're actually going to guarantee that you will live is by listening to me. Okay, because without no protection, what good are you? What good is a country?
Wisdom.
You can win wars without surviving wars. Wisdom will keep you alive. Wisdom will keep you from falling into
Love.
trap.
Listen, you don't need more knowledge. You're already the smartest man. Just so you know. More ability, because you already win. What you are lacking is a wife. You, wife, that's the one thing you've got left. You have children beautiful children who love it.
And wisdom.
You don't need a wife, you want to impress all of them out of.
Yeah, well, definitely come for your woman if you are just dumb. You cannot keep the most beautiful women if you are not.
Focus on your.
You cannot win all the wars if you are not one.
To fight for them.
And hold
You
it
know I
there.
have.
Well done, well done. Okay, right. What's going on in that exercise?
Well, it's almost like listening and responding, isn't it?
It is. So what did I get you to do first? So that we didn't get a wall of silence.
Talk
all at once.
just say
Talk
something.
all at once and just rough a few bits and pieces out, yeah? And then you had the choice of using those or bouncing off others. So who did a bit of both? Yeah, I mean, there was a moment here when you said, oh, I've run out of ideas. But, so you've run out of your pot, but I noticed I'd go round again, and then she was actually having a go at one of the others, so it's worth going round a few times. Again, one of the mistakes you make here is you just go round once, and then we listen to them all, that takes forever. So what happens now is, now tell me what's happening in terms of assessment for learning. What are they having to assess? Yeah, and instead of stopping and talking about it and saying, well, I like the argument because this, because of that, how are they showing that they've assessed?
Because they're responding.
Because of what they're doing. So we're now really, this drama process is pure assessment for learning because they're actually doing it in role. And I go, what's it you said? You can be dead.
Yeah.
You
You could be smart but dead.
can be smart but dead.
You could be in love but dead.
Yeah. So you weren't, that wasn't even your group, but so
No.
you picked that up.
Yes,
as
so
well.
I fall back.
For it.
Yeah, you picked it. Well, if you hear a child doing that, what must they have done? They've paid attention, but they haven't just copied. If it's a really good one, what have they done?
They've used it to, they banked it.
Made their own.
You scammed off.
They've assessed.
Yeah.
That's a good one, I'm having that. They might not be able to tell you why it's good, but the visceral experience of being in that theatre mode, in that dramatic mode, when they hear something powerful like that, they instinctively know, that's good, I'm going to nick it. And then they say it, and then they've got a feeling of what that's embodied, that's become part of it. Who cares who it belonged to 5 minutes ago? They've now owned it themselves. They must have understood it. Yeah. And they must have listened, they must have assessed, they thought, that's really top notch, I'm having that. And of course in drama, that is encouraged, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. So then what I would do is, there's lots of things you can do after this. You can go around and say, well, let's go around and refine it. You're going to have to go around 3 times and show. What the other thing I sometimes do is, which I think I'll do here today actually, is the wisdom stand up in both groups. Yeah, you make a pair and you make one goddess of wisdom and you put your arguments together, or possibly make up some new ones if you want to. Why not? You know, this is what we want. Put goddesses of love together. And you make a group, and then you two are war. Yeah, okay. And you are going to make a collective goddess, yeah. And it's a monologue shared between 2 or 3. Yeah, very short. We'll only just to see where the assessment for learning actually occurs. All right. And you're going to put those arguments together, and then poor old Paris is going to meet these multiple goddesses. He's going to wonder what's hitting. Okay, right. Off you go. Just give you a little bit of time to do that.
I think what I sort of learned from it, that's like
What's the point of it, like the war, the
Being the strongest
is most important.
Yes, exactly.
Anyone who disagrees with you.
I said that,
You don't need to be biased.
said
Yeah.
you guys find wisdom
Yeah.
for, you're already as much
Yeah.
as mine.
Yeah.
Already so as much.
Good.
But I don't think you're missing if you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, protection of
What did you say?
Yes. This country protect, you know.
Yeah, and then we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can swing all those carry you know in, but that's something that you survive.
Knowledge and love are so abstract and like winning everybody. That's really
It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, 10.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just. Yeah, so,
6. 5. Okay, right. We could, of course, make some sort of Conscience Alley type thing out of this as well. There's all sorts of ways that we could do that. Let's just hear a very brief bit from these two. This is Goddess of War. Yes? Off you go.
Power is the most important. What good is love if you're
Dead.
dead? What good is wisdom if you're
Dead.
because mostly that's all going to happen for you when you're the strongest and the best. And you can win every argument anyways because you can just kill them. And the women will love you, and also all of you, the men will respect you because you're the strongest and best.
Even if you're the ugliest guy, you've got all the power.
True. Power,
That's
baby.
where the will follow.
Mhm.
See the logic? Have
Mhm.
no one else to go to
Mhm.
apart from you. Everyone else is dead because you won all the wars.
I should have videoed it rather than photographed it.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that's what
Shall I do that? Shall I do videos instead?
Do it the exact same.
I can't be great.
To be fair, you do have the
You do have,
option.
you do have.
Yeah,
Amanda,
we recorded them.
Yeah.
You
Probably
can
my
take-
audio.
I mean, they're not in the camera, but you
No.
have the audio.
No, I was thinking about
Wait.
snippets for your
It's like
evidence.
so-
but
Needed
it's
to-
all right. We can hack that. Right. I've got the right. Yeah, so, yeah, I think it's photographed. Right, off you go. This is Goddess of Wisdom.
Wisdom is the only moral choice. It's the one only choice where you don't cause harm on someone else. You don't force someone else to love you, and you don't kill other people. And it's a strength that empower that will stay with you regardless of the situation.
And if you have knowledge, if you have all of the knowledge, you don't need war.
You're-
Because you already have all of the knowledge you need to win those wars. And the love will follow. You don't want to force somebody into loving you. That's going to be against their control. You don't want that. You want to find love on your own. And with knowledge, you will know what love is and be able to find it faster.
If you're constantly in conflict or you can't find love, it's probably because you're too dumb.
Okay, and of course, I think we all know what dear old Paris chooses. Silly chum. Anyway, here we go. What arguments on that? Off you go.
Listen, Paris, you're a reasonable man. And we know, as the goddesses of love, that you are already the wisest man in the village. You are already the strongest, most capable war hero of the village. You don't need these other two. The one thing you are lacking is a beautiful wife that we can give to you.
Yeah, I mean, consider this. You learn everything. No one likes you. You defeat everyone. No one's coming to your parties. The one thing you're missing, well, I'm gonna let Ray explain the one thing you're missing.
Yeah, you get it. Just imagine her eyes, her hair, her body, and everything. The important thing is she is yours, totally yours. It's your woman, a totally woman belong to you. Mom.
Okay, right, thank you very much. And of course, he chooses that.
Left.
The problem is they've lied. Because she is not his.
Oops, my bad.
She is already married to Menelaus, who is one of the fiercest thugs imaginable. And he has a fierce brother called Agamemnon. And he calls on his brother to call this huge army. So Paris, we're not sure. There's very little that we hear about Helen, actually. We just know that Paris takes her. So we don't know whether she's in love with him. We don't know if she goes willingly. We don't know if she's kidnapped. We don't know if she's raped. We don't know any of that. We rather think of those two as the two heroic figures, but there are some serious questions over that. And Menelaus and his brother are always framed as the baddies, yeah? But for all we know, they actually go to try and release her from this imprisonment that might have happened. So this story opens up all sorts of issues about stalking, possession, etc., trafficking. It's very current, actually. Maybe not the bit with the wooden horse, but the issues are. And so Agamemnon goes around the whole of Greece, takes him ages. Everybody come, we're going to go to Troy. It was Helen of Troy, you know, we're going to go to Troy and we're going to have to see if we can get her back to Troy. And what happens, of course, is this terribly long war. I think it's 25 years, and they sit forever because they actually found Troy. Troy has been discovered. Troy has actually been discovered. And Troy's walls were higher than any other city. Nobody could work out why did it take so long, but their walls were higher. They've actually excavated it. That explains a lot. And there comes a point where they have to get in by trickery and they knock at the gate. They say, there's a marvellous gift for you from the gods. And it's this wooden horse. And so, of course, they bring it all in, and inside the horse is an small army of men who open the gates. And of course, it's an absolute bloodbath what happens next. So that's the story behind Troy. I'm just going to finish off with just asking you there, what did you have to do in order to put those goddesses together? Assessment for learning. What were you having to assess?
Our own points that we made, because I asked what all of our strongest, what we felt our strongest arguments was that we said.
First of all, let's assess what we've got.
Yeah, and then
Throw out the rubbish.
yeah, and then how can we put that together to make a cohesive argument?
Oh, okay. Is that more or less what everybody did? Yeah. And there's a little bit of improvisation around it that was spontaneous. Now, so that you've got peer assessment that you did together. You weren't assessing her work, you were assessing collectively. You haven't got collective assessment on that list. Have we? Yeah, so Black and William didn't think about that. One of them was a mathematician, one of them was a scientist.
Oh, makes sense.
But it does. But it was breaking away from what we had before, and we can work with this. But we do have other forms of assessment. And you could see what was happening here. You'd got your key points, but you were sort of jazzing it up as you went along. And so there was self-assessment. You weren't assessing yourself, you were assessing what he was saying and thinking, I can complement that. And she showed us that she was understanding, she'd assessed accurately by what she was doing. So it's all done through the artful. And this is why Mr. Clipboard sometimes misses it. Sorry, that's my somewhat cheeky name for an Ofsted instructor. If they're not subject specialists, they won't spot that. Yeah, They'll just say, well, there wasn't any assessment for learning that, you know, well, where was your targeted questioning? Where was their clipboard and tick boxes to do? Why weren't you doing what they do in other subjects? And think, well, actually, we do it through our subject a lot of the time, and a lot of it is quite organic. Yeah, that lovely word that I think you planted earlier. Okay, so here we are, the next bit. You'd like to put your bits of paper down? This is the last of the bit.
Or do you want us to put it away from the floor?
Well, yes, that would be a good idea because I need the space in the middle. Thank you. Okay, and when I come in, I'm going to be somebody else. Oh, you're all here. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I know we had a terrible storm last night. Now, you've come from the other side of Greece, haven't you?
Yeah.
Did you get caught in it?
Well, obviously.
Oh, dear. Have you had a chance to have a rest and change?
Yes, someone gave me a towel, so I was soaked.
We won't be doing this for very long. This is just the introduction. I'll let you go in a minute. So pleased that you've managed to come. I have read your work. Very, very exciting, especially all that work on the day. That was an absolutely brilliant paper, and I heard you speak at the conference. Thank you for coming here today. I think you're new, aren't you? So whereabouts are you from?
All the way from Japan.
Oh, you've come from Japan. You've come from way beyond Greece to be with us today. So I do know you. I'm sorry I haven't met you before, but you are a colleague of a colleague of a colleague of mine. And I'm really pleased that you're here. And I've been very impressed by your work. I understand you've got some new technology that's a bit like, mine's not working very well. You might be able to help me with it later on. Hello! Oh, I haven't seen each other since college, have we?
so true.
Oh, so lovely to see you.
It's so lovely to see you again.
Oh, that's a great thrill to have you back here. Thank you
Oh,
so much. That's,
of course.
oh, we've got a lot in common, right? And I do believe you came together. Yeah, I think I saw you arrive. I recognised the clothing. You arrived together. You're very, very welcome, and I'm sure we'll hear more about your work shortly. And oh, of course, my friend and colleague here, thank you so much for taking. You haven't been able to make it work by any chance, have you?
No.
Oh, nonsense. Let's hope it works today. Anyway, and last but not least, thank you so much for coming. My old mentor, who has come all the way from Thebes.
Yep.
Terrible journey you've had. I know you started off last month, didn't you?
Oh, it took me so long.
It did, yeah. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll let you sit down in a minute.
Oh.
I do realise that you're getting on a bit now.
Really?
Right, so now, called you all here, we've got a big. A few days ago, a young man was found wandering about on the mountainside. Apparently his name's Paris. And have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Well, he's behaved in the most bizarre way. Very confused, lot of mumbling about the golden apple. The earth was all scuffed up beside him and scorch marks. Nobody knows where that's come from. 3 sets of, well, footprints, like 3 people were standing there, but they didn't seem to walk or go anywhere. Nobody knows or can say, nobody saw anything. And he's had this clearly a very traumatic experience, really traumatic experience. And very, very distraught. So he's been sleeping it off a little bit. We really don't know what to do. We really are in a muddle. But what we've done is we've put him into the brain scanner, and this is the bit of technology I want to show you. So in a minute, if I can get that thing to work, what we will see is a picture of what's going on in his brain. Okay? And maybe you, with your different experiences, will be able to help us understand what's going on. Thank you. A, B, A, B, A, B, A. A's, you are going to be the images and the memories and things that are going on in Paris's mind. And having had that pasting from those 3 goddesses, okay, And the Bs are going to be with me trying to work it out. So I'll just see whether it's going to work. Because I think we've got to pull this lead, but it wasn't very good this. All right, it's making all right sounds. Let's just, it might take a little while for it to actually to emerge. So everybody look really carefully, see whether we can see any movement. Oh, look, can you see there's an image beginning to come together? Oh, this is working better than I thought it was. Right, what do you think's going on here?
I think some powerful figures may have come to him.
Really? No, very powerful to me.
Oh, they are mad at each other.
He looks like he's been confronted.
It's all happening in the middle of the brain, though. I think that's significant. Look, bang in the middle.
It's really top of mind.
What's all this going on here?
He likes the gym.
Well, he wasn't a particularly well developed young man, so I don't know what all that was about.
I think.
Oh, so
Hard.
Yeah. Oh, he's choosing love.
yes, but what
The
for
others
this
seem to be
now?
yeah,
That's
very
not
mad
love.
about it.
I've got, oh dear, look, it's beginning to fade. Look, we're gonna lose it. Look, that's a shame. It's a shame. I'll just twiddle about with the few. I wonder whether we might be able to, perhaps if we got them back one at a time, we could have a closer look. I'll just see whether I'm not sure whether it's clever enough. Let me just, tell me if you can see anything. Is that working?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's something.
Love goddess.
Oh,
He saw her.
it's beauty.
Beauty.
Oh, voluptuous. Yeah.
So nice.
Is this about SEX? Yeah, I'm not very good at that.
I think that's a definite yes.
Well, that one's fading. Look, beginning to drift. to the side. Oh, look, going towards the ear. Going towards the ear. That's interesting.
Big strong guy. Big strong goddess.
Oh.
Big strong body.
Ew. It's like fighting. Ew.
Uh-huh.
This might be the one that's
Victory.
disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
been
winning.
bothered.
He's
But
winning.
but he was in a crumpled mass. He wasn't victorious at all. We
Probably.
found him in a terrible mess. What's going on?
Oh.
Oh. Uh-huh.
What's she looking
Has
at?
he been
Down
saying
on the
anything else
floor,
lately?
looking at something down, like she's looking down beneath the brain. Where's she looking down? What would she be doing if she's looking down from the brain?
Oh.
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 Right, okay, I'll turn it off because I don't want it to overheat.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what do we make of that?
I love his beauty.
The love of beauty, but what about the rest of the stuff that was going on?
We saw a lot of fighting, but when we saw them all together, the person fighting didn't seem too happy.
Yeah, and it was one person fighting. We don't know who or what they are. Do you know, I'm thinking we might just have another look. This time, of course, we swap over. So it's let's see if we have another look. Ah, you think you might have fixed something. Let's see. Maybe this one can tell us a bit more about why. Yeah.
Okay.
What have I got to press? Was that file opening? Okay, right, let's see. Is anything happening?
Not yet.
Not yet.
By fiddling that switching on.
This
Yes,
feels.
press that big red button.
I've never pressed that before.
Oh, look.
Oh, look, there we
Oh,
are.
stuff's happening,
Fixed it.
stuff's happening, fixed it. Are we seeing the same thing?
It's a bit earlier. I think it's before the fight.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
before.
They're not fighting each other in this one.
No, no. What's going on here?
They're showing off. Well, they're starting a discussion. And saying no.
They're
each other.
definitely communicating to each other, aren't they? That wasn't happening in the last one. We're
Oh,
getting
very angry.
They're showing off.
It looks as if they're showing off. Well, this one's trying to get something. That one's trying. They're all trying to get something. What are they trying? Yeah, they're all trying. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, them two lost. That
Made
one.
this decision.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
appears
some
that-
sort of competition then.
Yeah.
And the
It
others
must-
have sloped off out of the brain scan, but this one's still there. Look, just behind the eyes. That's interesting. Just behind the eyes like that. Can't see anything else other than this. This might explain. It doesn't give us everything, but it might explain some things. I better turn this off. Okay, right. So there's some teacher enrolled for you. Right. And what does that do?
Mantle of the expert.
It is Mantle of the Expert. Well done. That's it. Because I greet you as people with experience, possible expertise. So I don't say, oh, you're all experts. You don't know where I come from. And all I do really to give you a bit of context is to suggest a bit about the journey. Okay? And I give you a little bit of individualised context, don't I? You're my old friend from college, you were my old mentor, you're the newcomer, etc., etc. And you're not quite sure what's going on until I tell you what? About the machine, the brain scan. Now you can do this in easy stages. So you could say A, B, or go around A's one at a time, just step in and just make a still image. It's a bit still image heavy, this piece, so I thought we'd just let it free flow this time. Then maybe a line or a word and a movement so it can build it up. I wonder if I press movement, if anything will happen. So who's actually, what's the mechanism that makes it happen? Is it me?
No, it's the switch.
It's the machine, yeah. And did you notice I did a lot of, oh, can you see anything happening?
Yeah. As like a prompt to be like move.
Yeah, I'm not saying, oh, look, and prompting you in. I'm completely trusting you to make something happen. And you were saying, yeah, something's happening. Come on, get what's going right, I'm coming. Oh. So that's very much a Dorothy Heathcote type of creation. And what we were getting was the story being retold again. Well, it wasn't just that. What else was happening?
We had different interpretations of the things.
Yeah. What's happening to him? His world and what he thinks he sees. Yeah, which we were talking about. What's trying to make some sense of this character's dilemma. Yeah. It's a little bit rushed, but you can see how it works. It's very good for character work. Yeah. We certainly got that terrible triangle that he got snarled up in. Yeah. And some ideas as to about why he's in such a mess. And I'm going to sort of leave it there. But brain scan is actually my invention. And it's quite a useful one. You give everybody else the power because you're not sure about this machine. Well, what will happen if I press this, which is a cue for somebody to do something? So where's the assessment for learning going on in there? What are they having to do?
Take initiative.
Improvise.
Well, they know the story, so they kind of know The
That's
obvious
quite
stuff like that going on was fairly obvious, yeah.
Kind of co-creation and negotiation.
Yeah, yeah. It could mean this, it could mean it. Surmise, yeah. And of course, I keep throwing in bits about the terrible state that he's in, and we don't know whether we can let him. We don't know if he's mad. This looks like madness to me. Of course, the moment you say that, the class will say, well, not necessarily. This could be trauma. This could be a psychic experience. This could be, yeah. So it helps if this one gets it a bit wrong. Yeah. We're not sure whether we can let him out again. And of course, you'll all say, oh, I don't know about that. So assessing this whole situation, it's actually quite a sprawling situation, yeah. But also listening to each other and building a possible picture of what's going on. Okay, right. Did you want to sit down and just do a last few notes? Anything? Yeah? To sit down and do that? I'll leave the recording on for now so that she can hear. Right, where did we leave off? Just before
Before Helen.
Okay, so there's the telling of the story, which I pretty much dramatised as I was telling it. Do you remember? Rather than reading it. Give me the apple, no, give me the apple, give me the apple. So I was sort of half dramatising it to keep it engaging. And it goes as, that's all right, it goes as far as the three goddesses and their big fight. So then what did I do? That's it, and you all played the part of one goddess, with your backs to each other. You have that practice run to yourself for about a minute and a half, maybe two. Get your own pot of ideas going. And then you used some of those, and then you used some of the things out of the drama as well. Bye-bye. Thank you. Yeah. And then you have a chance to tidy it up. It's a pleasant change from, oh, just go into the corner and practice for 10 minutes. Yeah, you've got a bit of group, spontaneous, structured impro, and then not that long to actually pull together the salient points. And that was where the assessment was. That's what we've just done. Throw away the rubbish, pick out the good bits, and join it up and zhuzh it up actually in a spontaneous way. That's a nice mixture of planned and spontaneous, that sort of a like a collage. So they have to assess each other's and their own work. They assessed it collectively. They decide together. You get this peer group thing. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Octavia, somebody else will look at you and think, oh, that branch isn't quite right, and they'll adjust your tree. Yeah. But most of the time, you're kind of arriving at a sense of connoisseurship about when it feels right. Yeah, that was good. Do that again. Do that again. Apart from this time, do it a bit slower. You know, you'll hear kids doing that. You couldn't want better examples of assessment for learning trauma. And then the last bit, the brain scan, you can use that on any character. It's great to do it on Lady Macbeth, Abigail. And it's happen to use it on this one. Your brain scan's quite a useful one. And you can do it just with images. So if you get a class that will say, oh, I can't think of anything to say, that's all right. You can have an image. You can have an image plus a line. You can have an image plus a line plus a movement. And then they can self-differentiate from there if they want to. So you get a nice spread. And of course, you've got a group of 13, you've got 15 to watch. You've actually got, I think I might do 3 sets of 10, maybe. One of our problems was that we didn't have quite enough people in Medford, we've got more. But then there's more to watch and more to interpret. And it's quite useful, I didn't do this time, to actually say the ears are here and the eyes are there, and then where are they in the brain? Is this something that's going on and on and on in his ear all the time? Is this something constantly seeing or thinks he sees? Is it at the back of the brain? Is it crouching down low as if it's a memory that needs to be smothered? So it's almost sort of a therapist study of this character design, and you can apply it to anybody. And the more they put ideas in, the more they begin to roll. But they are essentially assessing the brain scan. And the brain scan has been made up by them. Okay. Right. Any questions?
With explaining where, or asking them to point out where the eyes, the ears, the back of the mind, would that be a more specific prompt for them to focus, to break down the excellence into different?
If you're doing it for the first time, I think I would say, think of an image, make a still image and put it, and just remember where would you be in the brain? High, low, that was lovely when you actually reached down through the brain and picked something up. That would have been fascinating to have explored that bit more. But you've got that, then they fix that, then put a line on and then let them move. Oh, that's funny. Started off in the middle of the brain, ended up top down at the back there, came right at the front. This is what's really, can't think about anything else. So yes, if you layer it like that, I think I'd be inclined to do shape and position first, then a line and then a movement. It could be fear, it could be some sort of screwed up sort of addiction, maybe, addicted to love, but my God, did he sign up for this? Of course he did. And all that would actually. Anything else? Does that help flesh out for you assessment for learning? Yeah, and you realise that you don't have to plan it, it's actually sitting there pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
The thing is, do you spot it? And assessment for learning happens a lot when they're devising and when they're rehearsing. So that isn't when you sit back and just scan the room forever. You might do it for a little while and think, they're not working, I'm going to them first. But that's when you're going to hear the assessment for learning going. No need for you to do a lot of questions. They're asking themselves and answering questions all the time. And I remember one of my mentors was really upset because she had an observation and the deputy head said, I'm really disappointed in you. You didn't baseline them after 10 minutes into the session, whatever that's supposed to mean. And you weren't challenging them with individualised questions. And she said, well, I didn't need to, because they were doing that. She said, actually, if I were to go around and ask my question, all I'm going to do is stop their work. So she said, I went round and listened. And then I went round and I asked a pertinent question if it was needed. And then I asked them to share, there were certain bits that I heard that were really useful, and then they just reported back. Tell me what you were talking about so-and-so. You asked so-and-so about where he should stand. Talk to me about how you sorted that out. So that they drew like one little example from each of the group. Now in drama world, that's excellent practice. Deputy head who doesn't understand drama. So you need to frame it in careful terms. My goodness me, I Do you know, I had some questions just in case you needed them, but no groups really needed them. You're all asking better questions than I can think of. You need to say something like that so that the one in the corner gets the message, yeah? However, I'm gonna go round again, or the second time I went round, I only had to ask a couple. And that was really because I hadn't understood it properly. Yeah, and you need to sort of frame it and sort of put very obvious box around it because of the person in the corner with the clipboard. Okay, right, I think it's Friday and everybody's tired. I can't thank you enough for coming in and helping make up the numbers. You'd be very welcome to join us again. I'll hear what she said. Not all our workshops would be appropriate. I don't think they'd want to sit through about those awful folders, would they? No, but and all the IT problems that we had to battle with every day. But when we do a workshop like this, if you would be interested in joining us again.
You missed out on the Mary Curie one, that
Oh,
was my
the Marie
favourite.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you did in science, that was fun.
oh, right.
I like storytelling.
Was kind of,
Teacher
it was
enrolled.
teacher and role again,
Yeah.
like the, yeah.
Because you've seen Marie Curie, you saw the boy at the back of the class.
Mummy Pig.
Oh, yes, Mummy Pig. And now the crazy professor in ancient Greece with this weirdly anachronistic piece of clip. Of course, it's largely autobiographical because my students know how awful I am with IT and how they're fine and it won't work and the rest of it. So I thought, let's make something genuine out of that.
Oh, it took me a year in my classroom to figure out how to turn it on. In fact, Ofsted turned it on for me.
Oh, well,
So that's
their
all right.
uses.
It all passed, it was still got my assessment for learning.
Right, so I mean, this will be familiar to you.
Yeah.
A workshop on assessment for learning when you've already.
Well, it's
done
more
it.
to do with kind of drama teaching, because I've done.
Oh, because you've done it in
And,
English.
and also because when I was at school, this was the kind of teaching, and this is very familiar for me in terms of when I was a student. And then we went through a Michael Gove cycle of learn by rote, ask the obvious questions, and I want to see, because I've not been
Killed learning.
absolutely, just as I enter teaching.
That's interesting that you
yeah.
experienced that.
Yeah, and I was just hoping for a little bit of hope, so there you go, thank you for that.
Oh,
That
right.
it's starting to come full circle.
Well, no,
you know.
I've always done it like this with people, so it's the old fashioned way,
No,
but
that's
actually the new fashioned way wasn't carrying any real
No, no,
self-development, no learning, no
No.
inquiring mind, no independent.
Yeah.
Thinking about anything, it was just, oh yeah, I know how to do a chair duet, I've seen the video, I've got an A for them.
watch a video and copy it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you're hearing it from somebody.
Mhm.
So, but I'm hopeful that this report that I must read this weekend, got weekend myself, I didn't read that before. I'm hoping that that will do something about my admissions numbers and also carry some hope for the next few years. So if you want to do drama teaching, you know the sort of thing that we do here. If you want to do a PGC, that you'll want to do another one.
No, thank you, Bob.
But yeah, but if you want to carry on visiting, I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
quite nice with only 4 of us usually, it can be a bit. You know each other so well, you're kind of wearing each other out, you know?
Yeah, there's 4 of us, but
Yeah.
that's,
7.
and then Jazz is being reported for. We started with 7, but then things happened.
8, but
Eight,
one never
one
turned
never
up on
even
the
turned
first
up on
day.
the first day.
You'll be
How's
so
this
smart.
happening? The
Yeah.
college started.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got
Is
to have
that standard historically for you?
No,
It's completely depleted. This
no,
is
not
why.
losing not half your group before the end of week 1. One decided that she wasn't coming at all, having not come to any of the pre-meetings, and we didn't even meet her online. One decided that, well, she thought she'd applied for some sort, there'd been some administrative mix-up, and she thought she'd applied for something else. It was a shame because I think she would have really got a lot out of
Yeah.
Yeah.
this. She wrote me a beautiful email and she said, thank you for the windfall of knowledge and insight that I picked up in this 1 week, which I
we
thought
did
was,
a lot in week.
Yeah,
one.
week 0 it was.
well,
Week 0.
I'm hoping that, yeah, week 0, I think, I'm glad she got those 3 major workshops because that they can be perception, world, the way you look at your world gets changed in those 3. And then we had two who didn't get the maths, and that was a desperate shame. I've heard back from Joy, who is going to have a go at getting the maths.
Oh,
Remember,
good.
she said she didn't think she would. She
Yeah.
said, it's this year or never, but she's gone home, she's thought about it.
I'm just gonna try and bring it
Yeah,
back.
yeah, I haven't heard back from Kyle.
It's ridiculous, yeah, to become teachers. I think it's honest. Yeah, no, and then after.
Oh, I guess find out.
Yeah.
Which one was your favourite?
I grew up over well.
Okay,
You
yeah.
made it hard.
Watched it, if you say banana.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can turn this off without my glasses on. Oh, it's up here, isn't it?
Like stuff I haven't done an
You're
English
squinting at that.
done in about 6 years. So I'm sitting there learning my phone thing.
Pause, stop recording. Oh, recording, here it is up here, isn't it?
You don't, like,